South Dakota State head coach Aaron Johnston. Coach, start with a statement. We'll open it up for questions.
Well, I'm just really glad we had a chance to play in that game. Fun games. Very fun game, and ended up being a great memory, I think, for our players and fans and a lot of people. I think my first SDSU USD game, I think, was 14 years ago. I was assistant at North Dakota State College of Science, and I was looking for GA jobs. And didn't know much about South Dakota State, to be honest with you. I drove down, and the weather probably wasn't much different than this. And I came to the game, walked in the arena, and just was an amazing atmosphere and amazing emotion. And, I think SDSU won, but I'll be honest with you, I can't even really remember. I remember more of the emotion of the game. And it'll be neat. Our players will think back to this 14 years from now, and I think they'll have a smile on their face, remember it as a good night for them. So I'm really proud of them, and I thought they played well.
Questions for Coach?
Coach, can you maybe compare the atmosphere you played against them in the D2 years? You also had WNIT at home. Just kind of compare maybe what the atmosphere is like compared to those situations.
You know, I thought the atmosphere was excellent. I think it would definitely be right there with those other events. You know, we had really good crowds for WIT. We've had good crowds for USD in the past. We've had good crowds for North Dakota State. It'd be impossible to say that this was the best by any means, but it was a good crowd. It was right up there. You couldn't necessarily communicate real well, and you know, a lot of emotion goes into it. So I thought it was a really good crowd, without a doubt.
Did you look at this as one of those deals where you guys had a lot to lose potentially, and they had everything to gain? Did you guys obviously have a more stable or solidified program at this point?
Yeah, because of guys like you, I suppose, because I know you'll point out if we don't play well the next day in the paper. No, I mean, I agree with what you're saying. I just think that we're going to get looked under with a microscope in this game. I'm not going to say that we have nothing to gain, because we wouldn't have scheduled a game that we have nothing to gain in. But certainly people, I think, would be more critical of what we do versus what USD does. And that was my only big concern with scheduling the game, was how much pressure do we want to put on our players here? Because I think they came into the game with the idea that they had a lot of expectations and felt a big burden and really wanted to play well. I thought we were actually pretty tight for a lot of the game because of it. So you know, I really looked at it from their perspective. Was it fair to or not? And obviously the positives far outweigh that negative idea.
Maria said she may be more nervous in that game than before the NCAA tournament game. You said in the locker room?
No, I mean, I think I sensed it just in the week coming in. They weren't different before the game, or they weren't different in shoot-around today. I mean, you can just kind of sense that walking around and felt like they were carrying a bit of a burden and had a lot of expectations for themselves, but also felt that from other people. So I still thought they handled it well. Played exceptionally hard. We never lacked effort. We never looked out of place out there. You know, we didn't shoot the ball exceptionally well early, and had we made a couple open jump shots, and we had quite a few of them, that could have changed the game and got some momentum rolling. But I thought the team handled it really well.
Coach, the great
8-0 run or a 13-0 run late in the game. What sparked that run? Or late in the first half? Sorry.
Well, Kenny made some plays. Defensively, we settled down a little bit. Early on, we really had trouble with their spread and gave up a lot of middle penetration, gave up a lot of shots. And as the game went on, we settled in a little bit defensively. Couple transition plays. Kenny's three right before the half was big. So sometimes it's a lot easier than it sounds like. We just really made some shots there. It never felt like throughout the game we had a hard time getting shots. We just didn't necessarily make some early on.
Coach, the great barroom debate is always, you know, what happens when you get two teams on the floor as opposed to just discussing it. Seeing the two together now, where did you feel good about, especially good about your kids, or where you felt like, okay, we maybe have an advantage in this area?
Well, like I said, I thought we didn't have a hard time getting shots. It was never an issue of where we were going to be able to get good looks. You know, literally we had some players who just weren't guarded in this game intentionally, and that worked to their advantage without a doubt. Had we made some of those, and again, the whole game changes very, very quickly. I thought depth was certainly a big factor in the game. I just felt like overall strength, athleticism probably was a bit of a factor in the game.
Talk about that burden, you know, heading into the game, but when you guys did get up, it looked like they were incredibly loose, like they were playing just a pickup game for fun. Did you sense that, and did you kind of enjoy watching them have fun there late in the game?
Yeah, you always enjoy it when your team can have that kind of personality on the court. You want this to be an incredibly challenging experience, but also an incredibly enjoyable experience, and I thought it was. You know, when you got that many people rooting you on, you make some big plays, you're certainly not going to feel bad about that. It's only going to pick you up a little bit. But the challenge is, when you make some plays that don't go that well, it knocks you down probably a little bit more than making a good play. We had some of that early, so I was really pleased with how we responded. never really panicked, I thought, when we got down, just kept plugging away and played well when we needed to.
Was there anything you felt you needed to adjust to when you were down early on? Did you say anything to him during one of the media timeouts? Say, just calm down, we know that we can, you know, if we just play our game, we'll be fine. Was there anything that you had to try to take care of?
We did make some adjustments defensively in how we were guarding there. Again, that motion and spread offense, in terms of where we were trying to funnel some penetration. I thought that really helped. Kept the ball, like we said, out of the middle of the floor a little bit more. But we just needed to make some shots. That really ends up being the cure-all. When things aren't going well and you're missing shots, it's hard to play with a lot of confidence. And Ketty's big shots there at the end, I think, kind of relaxed everybody a little bit.
Coach, you were hoping this rivalry could get going on a respectful foot. What was your take now on the start of that?
Well, it sure seemed like it. I didn't get hit by anything on the sidelines, other than some maybe verbal abuse, which is something we probably all deserve, I think, when we're down there on the court. You know, I don't know, because I wasn't here in the hours leading up to the arena, but you know, I would think the administrations on both sides deserve a lot of credit for that. It seems like they're very proactive in making sure that some things that could be taken care of ahead of time were taken care of. And really made, I think, a good statement that we were going to try to do it the right way, so I think both sides deserve a lot of credit for that.
2 more questions.
Is that just a thing with fan behavior, or is that something between the two programs that this might be a quote-unquote kinder, gentler rivalry as you move into this Division I era and Summit League partnership?
You know, I think it was more at the administrative level. I know we never really talked about it on the coaching staff side. Once we scheduled the game, I don't know that Ryan and I talked until we walked onto the floor here tonight. So I really think the administrations did a great job of it, and yeah, I thought it went really well. It's a good start to it.
We look forward to playing this a couple times a year, next year and a half.
Once they're in the Summit League? Yeah, I think it'll be fun. I mean, I think that's what I talked about at the beginning. These are the kind of experiences you want your student athletes to have. And I think it is going to be a really exciting thing. Start to add them with North Dakota State, and those are a couple of big games we'll play every single year. And yeah, I'm excited for that. I think they're going to add to the league, and we'll certainly add to what they're doing too.
Would you like to play them next year?
You know, we haven't really talked about it. I wouldn't look at this game and say it had a bad taste in it. It just come down to the same thing this came down to this year. It fit. You know, if it doesn't fit where they're at or where we're at, we can't do it. It's as fun as it is. We've got a lot that we got to think about scheduling. So, but I know we haven't talked about it, and I would have no idea where they're at on that side.
Take a chance and let Nick ask one more.
Coach, I guess going into this last stretch run, is this kind of the weekend you guys needed to really get focused in on what leads up to the Summit League tournament?
Well, we'll find out, I guess. You know, this has been a weekend where we've had to put a lot into it, a lot of emotion into it, and the best thing for us right now is to be a day off tomorrow and give them some time to get rested for a big weekend. But you know, our focus will be back on the Summit League now, and that'll be good. This has been great. It hasn't been a distraction at all, but it sure takes a lot of energy, a lot of emotion. And it'll be good just to focus on Summit League and keep going.